Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Alright everyone, welcome back to the studio. If you've been following the channel, you know I've always loved collecting statues, but recently I decided to step completely outside of my comfort zone. What you're seeing here isn't a licensed piece. This is a fully 3D printed Juggernaut, painted by hand and built as a personal challenge to myself as a collector and creator. And today, I want to walk you through the journey. What worked, what didn't, and why this project changed how I look at collecting altogether. Following the Thanos build, I wanted to push things even further. Scale, mass, and raw physical presence. I wanted to shift my focus to emphasize on weight, bulk, surface texture, and muscle separation. I wanted to lean into the brute force versus finesse. Juggernaut isn't about elegance, it's about power, and translating that into paint was the real challenge. Now, please join me and let's get into it.
It's time to fight dirty.
Time to sweep the leg, Johnny.
Hey! Pick on someone your own size.
That's such a you thing to say. Go get him, Tiger! Big CGI fight coming up!
Here, we have the Juggernaut in his raw 3D printed form.
Stop saying raw dog.
What I love most about 3D printing is the freedom it allows. There's no factory compromise, no mass production limits, just raw potential and a lot of sanding. This piece started life as layers of plastic, but the goal was always to erase that origin completely and replace it with essence. Sometimes you just have to trust the process and all the primer. Lately, I've been cranking out these 3D prints, and I have to say, I absolutely love it.
I'm in the bad car, just cranking shot after shot.
For this statue, I looked long and hard for a proper interpretation. The pose does a lot of the heavy lifting here. Wide stance, forward lean, compressed power in the legs. This isn't Juggernaut mid-pose, this is Juggernaut mid-impact. I wanted him to feel like he's already in motion, even standing still. And of course, a dominant, undeniable size and aura. Included with this rendition are 3 separate portrait options, a helmeted version, a damaged helmeted version, and a completely unmasked portrait. Juggernaut isn't just strength. He's unstoppable force made flesh. Cain Marco doesn't win fights because he's clever or fast. He wins because once he starts moving, reality has to negotiate with him. That idea guided everything here. This statue needed weight, inevitability, and zero apology. Unlike my Thanos video, I am not going to run much step by step on the actual painting of this monster. If you have questions about the paints or techniques used, please feel free to ask. I was planning to focus more on an actual physical review for this big monster, as that's what he deserves.
I'm gonna rip you in half now.
That is such a Juggernaut thing to say.
And of course, much like every other endeavor in my life, like fitness, bodybuilding, or work, I have balance issues, but I love what I do.
Damn, bro, you must get bitches.
Still no bitches.
The base is scattered, but the direction is clear. A clear representation of the impact that Juggernaut carries everywhere he goes. When painting it, I wanted something that supports the idea of destruction without distracting from the figure. The base should feel like collateral damage, not a pedestal. I patinaed and heavily weathered the sub-base as well. The remaining debris I situated as a construction demolition site. I paid particular attention to his boots. I wanted them dirty to help ground him. Several wash layers and textured mud give him that realistic feel. The straps were kept restrained so they don't compete with the form. Juggernaut doesn't need accessories, he is the accessory. The shading was left simple and impactful to really accentuate his muscular size and form. The key highlights that really makes this monster pop is the vein work. I took a lot of effort and time here and am super pleased with the results.
If there's one thing women love, it's a vascular man.
In terms of paint and surface storytelling, the Juggernaut shouldn't look clean. I leaned into layered skin tones to avoid that flat, plastic look, adding warmth and shadow to suggest blood flow under impossible muscle mass. The armor was treated like it's seen things: scratches, grime, subtle wear. not neglect, but a history of battle.
He's doing great.
Juggernaut has always been misunderstood as brute strength, but strength isn't his defining trait. The Juggernaut represents inevitability. Cain Marko is not simply powerful, he is the embodiment of momentum. Once he commits to motion, the universe is forced into a defensive position. Heroes don't overpower Juggernaut, they survive him. Psychologically, Juggernaut taps into something primal, the fear of forces that cannot be reasoned with. Most villains scheme, they negotiate, manipulate, and calculate. Juggernaut simply advances. He is a catastrophe given direction. In mythical terms, Juggernaut functions less like a character and more like an event, a living avalanche or a walking natural disaster. His power does not feel earned or trained, it feels invoked, because it is. Juggernaut's abilities are mystical in origin, granted by the Gem of Sidorak, and this is where the character becomes fascinating. Sidorak does not choose warriors, he chooses vessels. Juggernaut is not empowered, he is occupied. And perhaps that is why Cain was selected. Beneath the armor and mythology lies something far more human. Cain Marko is driven not by conquest, but by resentment. Juggernaut is powered by a psychological cocktail of anger, inadequacy, and rejection. He is the perpetual outsider standing beside brilliance. Forever compared, forever diminished. His rage is not explosive, it is sustained, cold, enduring, grinding. Juggernaut doesn't lash out, he commits. One of the most compelling aspects of Juggernaut is the erosion of self. When avoiding pain becomes impossible, domination becomes identity, power becomes compensation, and momentum becomes purpose. On the shelf and in the display, this piece commands attention. It doesn't ask for it, it takes it. Even among polished high-end statues, a custom like this stands out because it carries intent. You can feel the human decisions in it. That's the thing I love about customs and 3D prints. They remind us that collecting isn't just about owning, it's about interpretation, creativity, and putting a bit of yourself into the piece. This monster here clocks in at 17 inches deep at the furthest point and just about 30 inches tall. Let me know what you think. Would you go heavier on battle damage or keep Juggernaut clean and iconic? But first, a little backstory. Cain Marko was never destined for greatness. He chased it. While serving alongside his brother Charles Xavier, Cain Marko stumbled upon something ancient, something not meant to be found. Hidden deep within a forgotten temple, he uncovered the Gem of Sidorak. It was a mystical contract. Upon touching it, Marko triggered an incantation bound to the artifact. Whoever touches the Gem of Sidorak becomes the Juggernaut. In that moment, he was not granted power. He was claimed by it. Sidorak is not a benefactor. He's an entity of endless destruction. The gem does not empower heroes or villains, it selects avatars. Cain Marko did not become strong. He became a vessel for unstoppable force. Juggernaut's abilities are mystical, not genetic. His strength is theoretically limitless, his stamina inexhaustible, and his momentum absolute. Once he begins moving, no physical force can halt him, and that is where the cruelty of the origin reveals itself. Cain Marko spent his life feeling overshadowed, diminished, and secondary. The gem gave him exactly what he believed he lacked, but at a cost. The power did not heal his insecurities, it fossilized them. The Juggernaut is inevitability, not because he cannot be stopped, but because something inside him refuses to.
Juggernaut was a very different challenge from Thanos. Thanos is about balance, intellect, power, and restraint. Juggernaut is about mass, momentum, and inevitability. Every brushstroke on this piece had to sell weight, not elegance, not precision, just raw force. This build pushed me to think differently about texture, shadow, and how light has something that's meant to feel unstoppable. Projects like this remind me that learning never stops in this hobby. Whether you're collecting licensed pieces or building something from scratch, the goal is the same: respect the art and keep pushing forward. If you've enjoyed this build and want to see more 3D prints, customs, and behind the scenes projects, let me know down below. As always, keep your passion for collecting alive and your love for superheroes soaring. I'll see you in the next one.